thank you for the opportunity to get to be a part of PopTech. I know we spoke a few months ago, and you were doing this, and what can I do to help your rebellion? Thank you for the opportunity.
Well, you're welcome. If you recall, I called you, and I was getting up my courage to ask John to give a keynote speech. And we kind of talked and talked and talked, and pretty soon, without even trying, I talked him into being the host of PopTech. So, thank you.
Thank you. And I was noticing that, well, first of all, I read more about your background when you called me, and I noticed that you come from an activist background, health activism. Can you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, well, if you ask my parents, they'd say I came from an activist background for many years, but so I went to college, and a lot of what Joy was talking about really resonated with me. I got a lot out of college. I was a good student, but it wasn't very exciting. And probably when I was about 24, was 1981, and I was working in Los Angeles doing a public health project for children with cancer. And without much preparation, the AIDS epidemic arrived on the doorstep. And this was in really late '81, shortly after the first case of AIDS were reported. And I would say my true education came over the course of the next 15 years. That was when I immersed myself in that work and went on to direct the AIDS program at Yale. In a climate that was full of pushback and difficulty accessing services, and everything was hard. So disobedience became a real good trait to have in those days.
And I think maybe when rebels mature, they make institutions, and so I noticed that. Could you talk a bit about PopTech's history, this institution here?
Sure. I think the best way to start talking about PopTech's history is to remind, probably about 2/3 of you are first-timers to PopTech, so welcome. We're really delighted to have you become part of our community, and 1/3 of our audience are people who, some have been here for every 18 PopTechs that we've had. But I want to take a little walk down memory lane, so Jim, could you roll that video, please?
That's a lot of events.
That's a lot of events. I'm going to clap because it's something to be. I think that signifies a rich history and a deep community. And for those of you who have been to many of those PopTechs, I hope that was a treat to be reminded. Also, I think what's been really lovely about PopTech is, we're based here in Camden, Maine. This organization was founded in Camden. I'm really happy that one of our co-founders is here and has only missed one PopTech, and that's Bob Metcalf.
Right over there, Bob.
He's it was really an organization that grew out of a community spirit and a community commitment. And when I came to PopTech about 8 years ago, it was really at the instigation of the then CEO, Tom Levine, Andrew Zolli, and a number of other people to say, hey, we get all these requests about, from the audience, from people that come to PopTech, that isn't there a way we can do more? We get inspired, we're moved to take action, but there's not really a formal way to do that, and could you create that space? And that's how I got involved with PopTech, was to help create that space. And a lot of the work I did in my years in the AIDS epidemic actually paved the runway for that work, because really what I was asked to do here wasn't a whole lot different than what I did in those years.
I have a question. When we first spoke, and I've been to PopTech a few times, and the topic of community comes up, and the topic of the fact that this is kind of far away. It's kind of even in a nor'easter, it's a trek to come out, it's not easy to check out of your work and to come out this far.
Yeah, and it's interesting the remoteness. I mean, I live in Camden, and my family moved here 18 years ago with the idea that we were going to take a year-long sabbatical and just sort of check out, be rebellious, do something different. And pretty soon we woke up and all of our kids have gone off to college. So there was something about the place that seemed both intellectual and calm, and had this ability. There was something about the sense of place here that opened your mind to think about things differently. And I think that's been a bonus for PopTech over the years. We just did a little retreat out on North Haven Island this weekend, myself, a number of alumni fellows and fellows faculty. And we got on the ferry boat, and as we pulled away, everybody had the sense we were going away. We were going somewhere to do something special. And I think everybody that was involved with that would share my reflection that if there's hard work you have to do and good, clear thinking, there's no better place than Maine.
Nice. That's a good Maine commercial. Very good. It's a couple things. I was rushing over here. It was 7:30, I think. At the bed and breakfast I'm at, I just hopped to get my orange juice and banana, and there was Helen Fisher, who's speaking later. And Helen said to me, I didn't tell this yet, but Helen was saying to me that the experience she's had with your staff, your team, has been unbelievable. Because coming here, a little complex, the person she worked with, Karen, she said that, oh my gosh, this is like Ritz-Carlton. This is like so amazing. So thank you for your staff's effort on that front.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And thanks to the staff.
Thank you.